Hi, my name is Batiste Nicholas. This is my CBT final for CBT class. I will be doing CBT work on a patient, a 28-year-old white female who is having anxiety problems at work, and I will be using the ABC model of CBT. Here's the role play, and for privacy issues, I will just be using myself, and the patient will be not in the picture. Patient's name is Sarah. Okay, Sarah, how are you today?
I guess I'm okay.
I'm sensing okay means not okay here. What emotions are coming up?
I'm feeling anxiety again.
It is really great that you are so willing to do this work, even though I know you haven't been feeling up to many things lately, and there are a lot of challenges in your life. Today we will continue talking about some things we began to explore last week to help improve your symptoms of anxiety that have made it harder to function at work. First, we will review what we did last week and then check in about how your week has gone, including the journal pages I gave you to complete. We will continue to make some sense of the way you have been feeling and figuring out some possible solutions. After that, we will set some activities and decide on some reasonable goals for you this week. Any thoughts about this so far?
That sounds good to me. Some of the homework assignments you gave me have helped me out a little.
That's great to hear, Sarah. Which ones have you found useful so far?
I think writing down my emotions before bed and doing deep breathing are helping me a little.
Great, I'm glad to hear that. We will also continue to explore that. Okay, so let's dive in here. Last week, when we met, we talked about how you are struggling right now and how you were feeling the most troubled by the feelings of anxiety and how you don't feel good about yourself. I introduced the ABC model to you. Tell me one of the examples we found last week.
When I'm at work, sometimes I don't feel good about myself. I feel like everyone is judging me and I don't do my work. I don't speak to my coworkers, which further alienates me and it makes me want to give up.
Good summary. Now let's break it down. Let's start with the C, or the consequence. I believe you had two in there, the behavior and emotional consequences, which are sometimes easier to notice and remember.
The behavior consequence of my anxiety is often getting in trouble with my boss because I can't get my work done on time.
And how about the emotional consequence?
The emotional consequence is feeling bad about myself and that nothing will ever go right.
Right. The behavior consequence was the not doing your work, and the emotion consequence was feeling bad about yourself. What was the activating event, or the A?
Being at work.
Right. Then there was the B, or the belief that you had about the activating event.
That everyone at my job doesn't like me and that I can't do the work that is assigned to me.
Yes, that's the automatic thought that popped into your head. You did a good job identifying that. We will talk this week about opportunities to help make you feel better by working to change the automatic thoughts and beliefs about yourself. As a reminder, automatic thoughts are what pop into our heads all day long. They often go unnoticed because they're such a habit, but they're usually pretty big clues to identify what your beliefs are in the ABC model. I asked you to try and jot down one or two automatic thoughts and your reaction this week in your journal. Let's take a look at those.
Well, one thing I wrote in my journal before bed the other night was about how my supervisor made me feel anxious.
Please explain.
She said in front of the other coworkers that I needed to get a project in by a certain deadline. I became so anxious that all my coworkers thought I was stupid and couldn't get the assignment done on time.
Let's try to understand how your supervisor's comments made you feel. So let's think back to that day when your supervisor said that. What thought popped in your head?
That my coworkers would think I was dumb and useless.
Right. And what was the thought that came along with that feeling? Try to imagine what the room looks like and coworkers around you. What your brain said to you when she made that comment.
She's making me feel real dumb.
You thought, she making me feel real dumb and worthless, and then you became anxious. What is your belief about being spoken to in front of your coworkers by your supervisor that makes you feel anxious?
Well, ever since that one time at work when I was utterly humiliated by my supervisor in front of my coworkers, I've had trouble dealing with anyone else at work.
So circumstances in your life led to the development of a belief that whenever a supervisor addresses you in front of your coworkers about something important, it is because you messed up and you think your coworkers will judge you. So let me ask you, have you ever seen one of your coworkers talked to by their supervisor in front of everyone?
Yes, I have.
And do you remember thinking in your head they were stupid or worthless?
No, I didn't.
You mentioned that you have often gotten anxious at work over being talked to by a supervisor. It seems to be related to this belief about yourself that no matter what you do at work, it won't be good enough because of that one time your supervisor yelled at you in front of everyone else. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Sometimes the feeling that you can't succeed at work or are worthless may have provided you with protection or benefits. When you get spoken to by a supervisor at work, the very negative thoughts about yourself that cause you to shut down have created proof for their false hypothesis that you are not a person of worth at work. This is a cycle of your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors.
But I don't believe that it's false. I can't get anything done at work. I'm not a good person.
You're 100% bad? What would your best friend say about that?
Well, my friends don't even realize.
So what evidence do you have that then supports the belief that you are not a good person?
I don't know. I can't do anything right.
The false belief that you are worthless is a huge target, and the automatic thoughts interpret things that happen in your life in the way that makes everything hit that target every time. But lots of time these thoughts are actually distorted, or maybe they aren't true at all. Skewed or problematic thoughts are called cognitive distortions. They all work to support the false belief that reality is that there is a lot more to it than that. Your feelings about yourself can change as we identify when these feelings are triggered. Now, before we wrap up, let's come up with a homework assignment for you this week.
That sounds good.
While at work this week, I want you to make a list of all the people sitting next to you. I want you to wait for your supervisor to come address you. As soon as she leaves, I want you to write down all the thoughts and feelings that you think your coworkers are thinking about you. 10 minutes later, I want you to reread what you wrote and take a good look at your coworkers and think if they are still thinking those thoughts. Sound good?
Yes, I will try my best.
Okay, I'll see you next week. Thank you.